Welcome to our summer celebration. It is race time. Heat 1A of unlimited boat racing for the Appliance Seafair Cup, and here are the boats in 1A. It's Graham Trucking for this Appliance Car Star Miss Rock, Miss Home Street, and Miss DeJulio. These are the boats in unlimited racing, Heat 1A of the Appliance Seafair Cup.
1A of the Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by Samsung and is presented for Seafair by Graham Trucking.
Take a look at the clock up in the corner. A little more than 3 minutes before we're actually off and running. The starter clock brought to you by J.P. Morgan Chase, proud sponsor of Seafair. Chase, making it easy for your personal and business banking needs to start and run strong. Take a look at the weather out here on the course. A little bit chilly, 63 degrees, and just a bit of a wind. A tiny bit of chop out there, but mostly the water is calm. And these are the drivers who will be dealing with those conditions. Take a look. The drivers in Heat 1A. J. Michael Kelly, winner of 2 straight Seafairs, Brian Perkins and Kevin Ekert. Amy Clancy is in the J. Michael Kelly pits.
And J. Michael Kelly told me his goal today is to keep it clean, make it to the final race where he plans to win it again for the 3rd time in a row. Now, he is qualified at the 4th position right now, but he said that's just fine. Qualifying's not what's important. What's important is winning the final race, and that is his plan. Back to you.
All right, Amy. Here are the other drivers in Heat 1A. In the Home Street Bank is Jimmy Shane. Maybe the best team all around here. He's a former winner of this race. Jimmy King as well. Allison is in the Home Street pits.
Steve, Jimmy Shane is on the water, and he's ready to win this. He's a young driver, very confident, and he has a fast boat. He has the 2nd highest qualifying speed. He's on the water, and this guy likes speed. In fact, he works at Blue Origin down in Kent, making rockets. Let's see what he can do on the water today. Interesting
that both these drivers, these young guys, are in this first heat against each other. There you see from Chopper 7 the log boom, the course laid out, and the boats jockeying for position. And with that, we let you know that we are live around the world on KIRO7.com. Here now, the voice of unlimited hydroplane racing, Mark Allen.
Thank you, Steve Rabel. 5 boats drawn into Heat 1A, and we have 5 boats up and running on the race course. Jimmy Shane is looking for some redemption, Chip, I think, because last year was not a good year for him at the end of the day.
It was not. There were official calls, and you never like that. You always want to see the winner that crosses the finish line first. But lately, there's been a lot of referees involved.
Now you're watching the boats cut through the infield. They want to get to inside lane, and we've seen it a little more and more this year. Late last year, they'll start trying to get that inside lane by cutting through the infield. You see Brian Perkins in the 21, the Albert Lee Appliance, and they're still strung out with about 45 seconds to go. Some of them are pretty far up in the race course, and so it looks like J. Michael Kelly is going to come through.
I think what we want to watch here is unforced errors. These are elimination heats. You just want to get that 2nd, 1st, or 3rd to get in the final, not risk it all right here.
A couple of guys going through the infield, only 24 seconds. We've got some guys, Chip, up at the top of the race course. That looks like Mr. Shane in the blue Home Street Bank. And he's got 15 seconds to go.
He's a little early, I think.
It's about 12 seconds, depending on what lane you're in. And they have to, we remind our viewers, they have to remain at 80 miles an hour or more. Here comes the rest of the field with a full head of steam, and Jimmy Shane on the inside. It'll be J. Michael Kelly right next to him. There's your starting line, and there's your starting clock. Zeros on the clock as they hit the line for the start of Heat 1A. Shane on the inside, on the right-hand side of your screen. Next to him is JMK, J. Michael Kelly, and right next to him, you've got the now blue, used to be the red Terminator. That is the piston-powered unlimited hydroplane driven by Jimmy King. So Shane comes off the turn first. A great view from up above as they come up the backstretch. Not too much chop on the water. You see King on the outside. You're seeing Shane on the inside. In between them is J. Michael Kelly as they come to the north turn.
I tell you what, Jimmy King did a great job. He was on the start with more speed than anybody else.
Whoa!
He was on the outside, but
Shane got real loose as he came through that turn. He got almost sideways.
But look at that piston boat in lane 3 on the outside. He's now moved into second, and he's awfully light. He almost went upside down.
Yeah, once again, he got way light, and he likes to run that boat loose, but that's just a little bit too loose. Through the south turn, Shane still in first place. He's being chased by J. Michael Kelly. You can see in lane number 2, lane number 3 is the piston-powered Jimmy King in the Mr. Julio right there. They are keeping pace, and anything that goes wrong, and that blue boat's motor, and he is walking the boat all over the race course, going up the backstretch on lap number 2.
You know, one thing you don't want to do is get the boat upside down in elimination heat when there's so little at stake. But Jimmy King, boy, he's putting that boat on the ragged edge.
Yep, he is, and so is J. Michael Kelly. King has fallen back now in the lane number 3. Jimmy Shane, look at him walk that boat back and forth. He is all the way out of the water, Chip. That is, but he's being chased by J. Michael Kelly. You can see about 6 boat lengths right there. Shane does not have too much of a lead, and Kelly is closing in as they head on the white fly lap. It's lap number 3, and there Kelly is now, he took a little bit of wider turn coming off the exit, and he lost a little bit of ground, but he's only about 4 or 5 boat lengths behind Jimmy Shane in the Home Street Bank, the U1, your defending national champion, running really loose. Kelly is the guy who likes to run these boats loose, but he's really calm compared to Jimmy Shane.
What I'm coming away with from this heat is all 3 of these boats are capable of winning that final. All of these boats have the performance to win.
Absolutely. Here comes Jimmy Shane looking for the checkered flag off the turn and down the front straightaway. Mike Kelly is closing in, but he's not going to have enough to get past Jimmy Shane. At the end of lap number 3, checkered flag flies. Jimmy Shane crosses first. J. Michael Kelly, see that big number 1 on the blue Home Street Bank boat. Number 5 on J. Michael Kelly. As he finishes second, it'll be Jimmy King finishing 3rd. Looks like Brian Perkins will cross in 4th, and Kevin Ekrit in the U99.9 Carstar presents KISW Miss Rock will finish in 5th place for Heat 1A. Not a bad run for Mr. Jimmy King.
Boy, that piston boat gave them all they could handle. Now, he had a great start, but he was in lane 3. If he would have got that good a start on lane 1, I don't think they could have caught him.
You didn't cross the finish line first, but you won because Shane got that 1-minute penalty. You said you wanted to keep it clean. What'd you think about your performance?
We couldn't have done it any better. We knew where we needed to be on the race course at the time, and we knew if anybody got up there in front of us, if the referees were doing their job like they normally do, then whoever was in front of us was going to get a penalty. Jimmy got up there a little early, and sure enough, he got his warning, and after that, it's just sitting there waiting, like he's going to probably get another one because he can't go any slower. So that just worked out in our favor. I think that actually put the Graham Trucking back in the lead for national high points now. We played really smart that heat and got our first place points, and we had an awesome race with Jimmy King in that U3 DeGiulio, and the Graham Trucking boat. We just hung in there and kept this U5 right up there, and it feels really good to go out and win this very first heat of the weekend.
Well, congratulations. Yeah. You did exactly what you said. Keep it clean. Come in first. Thank you so much.
Thank
and good
you very
luck.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
So here now are the results in Heat 1A of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup. And, of course, with the penalty against Jimmy Shane, the win goes to J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking boat. Mr. Gilio now is 2nd. Albert Lee Appliance 3rd. Carstar Miss Rock is 4th. And there's Home Street and Jimmy Shane coming up in 5th place with the 1-minute penalty. Those your results of Heat 1A, brought to you by Albert Lee Appliance.
Heat 1A of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by Samsung and is presented for Seafair by Graham Trucking.
The Geico driver of the heat goes to Jimmy King in the Miss DeGiulio for a picture-perfect start. And congratulations to J. Michael Kelly and the Graham Trucking. There's your photo finish, presented by Muckleshoot Casino, the biggest and best in the Northwest.
And back to racing we go. Heat 1B of unlimited boat racing for the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup. And here are your boats in Heat 1B. The Graham Trucking 2, Sound Propeller, Les Schwab Tires, JD's Hydraulics, Peters & May, and the Oh Boy Alberto, the sausage boat. Those the boats in unlimited racing and Heat 1B of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup.
Heat 1B of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by Electrolux Frigidaire and is presented for Seafair by Barefoot Wine.
The Chariots are out on the water just about 3 minutes and 10 seconds before the clock strikes zeros and the boats start racing. Again, the starter clock brought to you by JP Morgan Chase, proud sponsor of Seafair. Chase, making it easy for your personal and business banking needs to start, run, and run strong. Weather conditions, again, they continue to be calm with just a touch of wind out there. Temperatures have not increased very much. The drivers, though, they're nice and airtight in those cockpits, and here they are for Heat 1B. The drivers, starting with Jeff Bernard in the Graham Trucking 2 boat. Andrew Tate, the youngster, in sound propeller Les Schwab tires. In the Peters and May boat, we have Ted Thompson. We have Amy Clancy is talking to the Andrew Tate team. Amy.
The 26-year-old Andrew Tate is a rookie from Michigan who would love to bring the Gold Cup back to Detroit. Chip Hanauer said he is one of the finest young drivers he has ever seen, if not the finest, and he's hoping to bring it all home this weekend. He's the evil young kid from out of town. Back to you guys.
Evil young kid. Tommy Thompson is in the Peters and May boat, and John Theoret, the veteran, is in the Oh Boy Alberto, and Allison has been in the sausage boat camp all day.
Jean Theoret definitely has the fastest boat. He qualified at 150 miles per hour. He's out on the course, but he's been having some trouble, some unforced errors, hit some buoys in the past, hit another boat last weekend. So this is kind of one of his last stands. He's 53 years old. He needs to show what he can do here at Seafair, or Elstrom could find another driver. Back to you.
All right, Allison, as the boats will be jockeying for position, we're coming up on a minute to go. And again, we are live around the world on KIRO7.com. Here once again, the voice of unlimited hydroplane racing, Mark Allen.
Thank you, Steve Rabel. We've got 3 boats coming down the front straightaway. On the inside is Jean Theoret, and those guys are really close together. It's Mr. Bernard in lane number 2. Out on the outside, it looks like it'll be Andrew Tate, and trailing that field, but looks like he's coming up in lane number 2, so we'll see if he can sneak in there. Would be Tom Thompson. I think he's maybe going to have to move to the outside as they come to the south turn. You've got your 3 boats right in our shot, and Tom Thompson now running through some slop, and he will get out into lane number 4. On the inside is going to be John Theoret, Chip, but he has this 80-mile-an-hour problem.
Yes, we've talked about unforced errors, and already in the first 2 heats, we're seeing guys make mistakes that they really don't need to make, because these are just elimination heats. The boat should get you into the final if you don't mess it up.
So now we've got a 1-minute penalty on Jean Theoret in the Oh Boy Alberto, and a 1-minute penalty for going below 80 miles an hour on Tom Thompson in the Peters and May, and he's way on the outside on the right side of your screen. The 2 boats closest to us, that would be Theoret in the Oh Boy Alberto and Jeff Bernard in the Graham Trucking 2 as they turn toward us with 9 seconds. Now they're in pretty good shape, Chip. Only 7 seconds to go, although they are at full song as they come to the starting line. Now it looks like they're a little bit early. We'll have to see. It looked like they were just a little bit early with Theoret crossing the line first, and Jeff Bernard. That boat has not performed very well so far this weekend, but Jeff seems to have his foot in it, and he is trailing only by about 5 or 6 boats. But we've got a great race between Andrew Tate and Tommy Thompson back there for 3rd and 4th. They're a ways behind the 2 leaders on the race course, but John Theoret legging it up the backstretch with Jeff Bernard now starting to fall a little bit farther behind. And look who's coming up in lane number 3. There's Jean Theoret, your leader, as he comes to the north turn for the first of 3 times around in Heat 1B, coming to the apex, and now he'll find that big yellow exit buoy, and he's about almost a full rooster tail ahead of Jeff Bernard.
Make no mistake, that Oh Boy Alberto out with John Theoret, that is the class of the field as far as boat speed goes. But again, driver error keeps getting them in trouble, and we're seeing it in the first two heats of the Albert League Cup.
And here comes Andrew Tate. You can see the front end of the Oh Boy Oberto as Jean Theoret goes through that south turn. But Mr. Tate in lane number 3 on the outside there, he's chasing after Jeff Bernard. Jeff still has that boat running a little bit better than he has all weekend. Last weekend he had not a good weekend in that boat, and he didn't qualify very well. They had 2 or 3 runs yesterday late in the afternoon. Your leader is Jean Theoret in the Oh Boy Oberto, leader on the race course. Behind him is Jeff Bernard in the U7, the Graham Trucking 2. You're watching Theoret come down to take lap number 2.
You know, I think that start is going to be under review. It looked to me like John Theoret in the Oh Boy Oberto was either perfect or over, and we're just getting word that it actually is under review. So we've got a lot happening here.
End of lap number 2. Theoret does cross the line first. We'll just call them as they are on the race course. The Graham Trucking 2, the U7 with Jeff Bernard crosses in second, and close behind him, Andrew Tate. You can see they are now only about 4 boat lengths behind that U9, the Les Schwab tires, the Sound Propeller Service, and he is making up ground, and he may have enough room and enough time to pass Jeff Bernard. That's your race for second place. Jeff Bernard on the inside. On the outside, Andrew Tate. Oh, he got the left side of the boat up just a little bit, some air under the boat, and that's your race for second place as they come to the north turn, apex now of the north turn. John Theoret is in now. Andrew Tate has passed Jeff Bernard. He had a great turn. Andrew Tate comes down to take second place.
Tell me about your plan and how you feel about what happened.
Well, we ended up with the W, I guess, so that was good. The plan didn't go totally right on track, but we made up for it in the long run. You always make your plan and kind of key on what other people or kind of predict what other people might do. And Jean came right across the course at the beginning. We didn't plan on that, so it worked out in the long run.
How did it feel out there to you? What are the conditions like today?
The water's pretty rough. The water, you know, it's typical Seattle. But, you know, we were fast out there. We were out first, and it felt pretty good.
So with the penalties assessed, here are now the results in Heat 1B of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup. And it is Andrew Tate in the Sound Propeller Les Schwab Tires boat. They beat that boat up in Tri-Cities. They win a heat here in Seattle. Congratulations to them. Graham Trucking 2, Oh Boy Oberto with the penalty. Jean Theoret and company dropped down to third, followed by the J&D's Hydraulics, Peters and May. Those are your results. Heat 1B brought to you by Albert Lee Appliance.
Heat 1B of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by Electrolux Frigidaire and is presented for Seafair by Barefoot Wine.
The Geico driver of the heat goes to Andrew Tate, Sound Propeller Service, and Les Schwab Tires for a great come-from-behind performance in Heat 1B. And congratulations to Andrew Tate and the Sound Propeller Services Les Schwab Tire, his very first heat win in an unlimited hydroplane. There's your photo finish, presented by Muckleshoot Casino, the biggest and best in the Northwest.
It is race time on this Seafair Sunday, Heat 2A of unlimited boat racing for the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup. And here are the boats in competition. The Home Street Bank boat, Graham Trucking 2, Sound Propeller Les Schwab Tires, the Miss Albert Lee Appliance Car Star Miss Rock. Those boats, unlimited racing, Heat 2A of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup.
Heat 2A of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by Bosch Thermador and is presented for Seafair by Home Street Bank.
A reminder that your starter clock is brought to you by JP Morgan Chase, proud sponsor of Seafair. Chase, making it easy for your personal and business banking needs to start and run strong. About 2.5 minutes before we get going, there is the weather that is slowly approaching the shoreline of Lake Washington. It is a little bit rainy. We're going to get this race in, however, as water conditions are calm. Here are the drivers already in the boats, and they are moving briskly around the course. Jeff Bernard there in the Graham Trucking boat. Andrew Tate in the Les Schwab Tires boat, along with Brian Perkins, Albert Lee Appliance. Let's check in with Allison and young Mr. Tate.
Oh, he might be a rookie, but when he got in this boat, he was calm, cool, and ready to race. He's been to Seafair before with his dad, veteran driver Mark Tate. Now it's his turn. He's on the water. Back to you.
Also, let's check out the other two drivers in this boat. There's Jimmy Shane in the Home Street Bank boat, and then Kevin Ekrit in the Miss Rock, and Amy Clancy, maybe Amy Hunter, is with Jimmy Shane. Amy.
I actually saw Jimmy Shane drumming his fingers on the steering wheel as they were waiting to get out on the water. He wants to get out there, he wants to keep it clean, but he wants to go fast because he wants to win this year. Back to you.
As do all those guys, Amy. We are live around the world on KIRO7.com, and now here is the voice of unlimited hydroplane racing, Mark Allen.
Thank you, Steve Rabel. Jimmy Shane not only wants to win, he needs to have a really good showing. He had a penalty yesterday and ended up at the back of the pack, so he needs some points to get in to the final. You're looking at him on the inside lane. On the outside lane there is the 99.9 Miss Rock. In the middle of that pack is Mr. Andrew Tate. Talked about him just a couple of minutes ago. He had a great race last Heat 1B yesterday afternoon. So they are ready to go racing. 46 seconds away to go, and they're about halfway up the backstretch. So they're looking at that 80 mile an hour and not going over. We had a couple of problems with it yesterday, Chip.
We did. They have a rule in there: you cannot go under 80 miles an hour to keep the starts fast. But you know, this is kind of a must-win for Jimmy Shane because of that penalty. He's got the inside, so he's looking good.
They're fighting for lanes. These are not assigned, and so Jimmy Shane has managed to wangle his way into that inside lane. Next to him will be Andrew Tate.
I think he's early.
Yeah, he is early. There's 12 seconds left to go, so he's going to look at 80 miles an hour as everybody else comes down the front straightaway with a full head of steam. They're still a little bit early. Still 2-1. We'll have to look at that start.
I think we might have some jumpers.
I think Jeff Bernard was first across the line. Brian Perkins might have been right behind him, and it looks like we'll have to have that reviewed as we go through the south turn. First 3 times around. Jimmy Shane on the inside. Andrew Tate has fallen back. Maybe he let off a little bit in order not to jump the gun, but he is now in that second lane right next to those two guys right there, the 99.9. Right now, though, it's Jimmy Shane up the backstretch, and he has got about half a rooster tail lead over the second place boat, which would be Andrew Tate, as we come through the north turn this time. First 3 times around here for Heat 2A. Jimmy Shane, he is out in front as they come off the turn, but there's Andrew Tate right next to him. He's only about 3 or 4 boat lengths behind. Andrew Tate is in lane number 2. You got Jeff Bernard out in lane number 4. He is closing up his distance there with Andrew Tate as well. So the south turn is going to be very important, Chip, as they come through this the second time around. We will see if Andrew Tate can close up a little bit on Jimmy Shane, and it looks like maybe he did.
The start is under review. That means at least it's close. And we go back to what we talked about earlier, Mark. Don't make unforced errors. Jumping the gun in an elimination heat is not the smartest way to get to the final.
No, they were early as they came down the front straightaway, and some of them may have jumped. Their officials are reviewing a Jimmy Shane in the lead on the lake. And lane number 1 coming down for the end of lap number 2. They come around the north turn. A couple of them trailing back by the exit. You're looking at Brian Perkins chasing Jeff Bernard, the U7 Graham Trucking 2, but your leader right now. Little air under the boat as they come down the front straightaway. In fact, a lot of air under the boat as they come down the front straightaway.
There's Andrew Tate. He is right there, and he started quite a ways back, so he's made up a lot of ground. And Andrew Tate, being a rookie, I think he's going to be a contender in the final because we know he's legal at the start, so he's looking good.
Yeah, he is in good shape, and he's only about half a rooster tail behind. The 99.9 has moved to the inside. Kevin Ekrit has moved to the inside. He's running a lot of sloppy water in lane number 1, way behind Jimmy Shane. He races up the backstretch with Jimmy Shane and Andrew Tate as they come to the north turn, the third and final time around. Andrew takes a fairly wide turn, and Jimmy Shane gained some ground on that one. Andrew Tate will be 5, 6, 7 boat lengths behind as they come off the north turn. Jimmy Shane comes down. End of lap 3, number 3 takes the flag, the checkered flag. Andrew Tate will cross in second place. Then it will be Kevin Ekrit, and he comes down in third. Jeff Bernard and the Graham Trucking 2 will cross fourth, and Brian Perkins almost caught him at the line, but not quite. So Brian Perkins will finish 5th on the lake. We've got a couple of jumpers, though. In fact, the last 2 boats we just talked about, the 21 and the 7. That would be Brian Perkins in the Albert Lee and Jeff Bernard in the Graham Trucking 2. They were gun jumpers, and so the first 3 boats across the line will be Jimmy Shane, Andrew Tate, and then Kevin Ekrit. They were legal at the start.
You know, being legal and not getting in trouble is a big part of these elimination heats. People sometimes go at these elimination heats like there's a lot at stake, but there's not. Really, if you've got a good boat and you just stay clean, you should get in the final. So the guy who's doing the best job of not making mistakes is Andrew Tate.
Right now, he is the guy.
And you made a good point during the race. You were talking about the 99, the KISW boat in the back. The race behind the leaders is a much rougher experience than out front. If you're in lane 1 or 2 out front, it's a much smoother ride. When you're behind, it's really jarring.
Well, he'd been in lane number 3 about the half lap or so. He moved into lane number 1.
You know, one thing we're doing this year is we're naming a driver of the heat every heat with the Unlimiteds, and we're doing that because sometimes a driver does a great job but doesn't have the equipment to win the race. So we're trying to focus on some drivers who maybe didn't win the heat but really drove a good, smart race. So after every heat in the Unlimiteds, we're naming a driver of the heat who may or may not have won the heat.
Good race for those guys. And a nice race for Kevin Ekrit, too. He was keeping up with the crowd and did outdistance both Jeff Bernard and Brian Perkins.
You know, it's nice to see, as a matter of fact, Ms. Rock back in the sponsorship. Since 2005 since they've had their name on a boat.
That color scheme goes way back, and everybody's got some. I'm trying to think of Jack Berry was a driver back then. I think
looked like a bear in a driving suit.
And he was my favorite guy. He was so much fun. He had a great personality. He never had great equipment, but I really loved working with Jack.
Great tradition here along the shores of Lake Washington. There it is, the Miss Rock, KISW.
You know, I want to do a shout out to someone we lost who was very instrumental in I keep saying Mark Tate. It's Andrew Tate, his son, who worked on his gearbox and did a lot of work for a lot of the boats, and that's Lance Morris. And we lost Lance Morris this week, so all of us in the pits are thinking of Lance, and he played a big role in a lot of my work, so we're thinking of you.
Once again, the shot there from Chopper 7, again sponsored by Alaska Airlines. Always glad to have the hometown airlines on board. Now let's take a look at this start one more time, guys, and scope this out and see if you can catch if there in fact was a violation.
I don't think it was even close. I think it was way over. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, it was pretty close, but he was definitely over. So again, unforced error, don't you think, Mark?
Yeah, and those two guys can't really afford to do that.
Amy Clancy is with our winner, Amy.
Jimmy, congratulations. You won the heat. How'd you do it? How do you feel?
Thank you. You know, like I said this morning, we had a really good test session. We wanted to be really confident in our timing marks. We wanted to push it a little bit that heat to see how close we were on our timing marks. Worked out great for us. We know that we're going to be in good shape. We have a couple maneuvers left up our sleeves for later in the day. That's exactly what we needed. We were in a hole yesterday, down with a 4th place finish, and we did exactly what we needed to do. Had a good win in Heat 2A here. And hopefully we're looking in good shape to make it into the final first. That's going to help out a lot with 400 points, and then just keep the Miss Home Street Bank boat rolling. Have a good, clean set of heats in Heat 3, and I think we'll be in good shape for the final.
Was the start what you were looking for, or were you hoping to hit it a little harder and faster?
Yeah, like I say, we wanted to test out a couple scenarios leading up to the final heat today. These are the conditions that we're going to be racing in all day long. So we wanted to see how close we could get to the start-finish line and still accelerate through the first corner and hopefully come out in the lead. Worked out for us this heat. Next heat we might try something a little bit different, get in people's heads a little bit, and that's all part of this racing game.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Jimmy. Sounds like a tease to me. He's not going to tell us what he's going to do. We're just going to have to watch him do it. Back to you, Steve.
Amy, it sounds like one of the guys he's trying to get in the head of is the guy who just came in second in this race. That's Andrew Tate, and Allison is with him.
Oh, and we're close enough to hear what's being said over there. Andrew, how did it feel out there?
It's definitely a little bit bumpy. That's just part of the challenge here at Seattle, though, and one more thing for the driver to worry about, which is challenges are good. It makes it more fun.
How's the boat feeling after the major repairs after Tri-Cities?
I think we're back to where we were. A huge credit to the team, guys at Les Schwab and Sound Propellers, the crew. I mean, they worked all night, all day. on top of their day jobs. So everyone here works their day jobs in order to support themselves, but we do boat racing because we love it. So.
And with the weather picking up a bit, how's that going to affect the next heat?
I think the conditions are only going to get worse. It's fine with me. Back in Canada where I race on the HRL circuit, everything's on a river and they're always an ocean. So like I said before, it's always a challenge. Challenges are good though.
Bring it on. That's what Andrew Tate's saying here. Back to you guys.
Allison, thank you. As we continue to look at the Les Schwab boat, Chip, I'm going to ask you about Jeff Campbell, who is the crew chief on that Les Schwab boat. 12 years with the Budweiser team. So you got a young driver, but you got that great experience in your crew chief.
Yes, Jeff and Mike Campbell were racing with me back in my day. That's how much experience they've got.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time.
As it looks like now from the south, the rain, the misty rain is starting to blow in here, and hopefully, as Morgan said, it won't last long. But we have results from Heat 2A of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup, and here they are. Home Street finishes first. Sound Propeller, Les Schwab Tires. These guys are going to be dueling all day long. Miss Rock, Graham Trucking, and Miss Albert Lee Appliance, the 4th and 5th boats penalized on that jump at the start. Those are the results of Heat 2A, brought to you by Albert Lee Appliance.
Heat 2A of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by Bosch Thermador and is presented for Seafair by Home Street Bank.
The Geico driver of the heat is Andrew Tate from Sound Propeller Services and Les Schwab Tires. Still no mistakes for his performance in Heat 2A. And congratulations to Jimmy Shane and the Home Street Bank boat. There's your photo finish presented by Muckleshoot Casino, the biggest and best in the Northwest.
Of unlimited boat racing for the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup. Here are the boats in Heat 2B. Miss DiGiulio, the Graham Trucking boat, won a heat yesterday, Peters and May, and the Oberto Sausage boat. The unlimited hydroplane racing Heat 2B of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup.
Heat 2B of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by DCS by Fisher & Paykel and is presented for Seafair by Tulalip Resort Casino.
Check and see where we are on the clock. Have a little bit of time as there was just a touch of a stop there. So we're at 4 minutes now, and that'll give us a little more time to reset everything here. And you can see through the raindrops on the lens covering the camera on Chopper 7 that it is raining here. Take a look at the weather. By the way, the clock brought to you by JP Morgan Chase, proud sponsor of Seafair. Chase, making it easy for your personal and business banking needs to start and run strong. We now have a little bit of a light chop, a little gust every so often, and we do have a rain shower coming over the south end of the course, and it will move over the entire Lake Washington course. But again, Morgan tells us that this rain will be out of the way in, we hope, the next 20 minutes or so. Here are the drivers coping with these conditions, and really pretty decent conditions. They don't care if it's drizzling a little bit. Jimmy King is in the Mr. Julio boat, and J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking boat, and Amy is with that team.
You know, I talked with Mike earlier today, and he said we're ahead points-wise, but Jimmy Shane just put the pressure on him because he just got a big load of points. So Mike said he's going to go out there, he's going to keep it clean, he's going to keep the points coming in so that he makes it to the final, and again, hopefully wins for the third time. Back to you.
Yeah, that's what they got to do, get to the final. Tom Thompson is driving the Peters and May boat, and Jean Theoret, the veteran, in the Oh Boy Oberto boat. Allison's with them.
So this is a time for Jean Theoret to show what he can do. He has the fastest boat. He's had a rough time, though. He crashed into Jimmy Shane over in the Tri-Cities. They got the boat all fixed up, but that boat is fast. He's a veteran. He's won Seafair before, and he's out on the water to show what he can do. This is kind of a chance for redemption for him. Let's hope he does it.
I think he's kind of lying in the weeds there, just hoping those guys kind of draw each other out, and then he's going to jump them both. We are live around the world on KIRO7.com. Here now again, the voice of unlimited hydroplane racing, Mark Allen.
Thank you, Steve. I am so grateful. The Peters and May boat, so brightly colored as we have the mist encroaching from the south. We'll be able to see him at least, and they're all cutting through the course, trying to scrub off a little bit of time. A couple of minutes left before the start.
Mark, before we get going with the race, what does the rain, Chip, mean to these drivers, these boats?
Only visibility. Wind is your your enemy. Rain, not so much. So I think we're fine.
They're all doing donuts through the course. I can tell you back in 1995 we had a real wet day and the driver's suits got wet. The cockpits did fog up. Nate Brown was trying to dry his driver's suit with a hairdryer in the back of his truck.
I remember that, as a matter of fact.
Who won that race?
I'm
Not sure I remember.
I remember, but
It was me.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Could have given us a hint or something.
He did by asking the question.
That was a miserable day.
Yeah,
that was
it
the
was.
most miserable
It wasn't
day
any
of
fun up
racing.
here either, I can tell you that.
Tommy Thompson just went out of your picture on the left-hand side. J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking. You're looking at the Miss DiGiulio. Chip and I were talking earlier and made a reference to the fact that they were flying the boat. Jimmy said they tamed it down just a little bit.
I hope so. I mean, that was really critical yesterday, Mark. I thought he was right on the edge. And there's this place where the boat, when it gets up in the air, it can go either way, and he got there 2 or 3 times yesterday.
So right now, he has got it flat on the water. You're watching a couple of the boats running up the backstretch. They're going to make it to the north turn and then head down this way to start. Heat 2B, 38 seconds to go. John Theoret coming up behind them, and then the Miss DiGiulio. It looks like J. Michael Kelly has secured the inside lane. It will be Tommy Thompson next to him in lane 2. And I think it's the DiGiulio in lane 3, and maybe out on the far outside is going to be John Theoret. So let's look at it up to the north turn.
He's in a must not win necessarily, but he's got to be 1 or 2. So the pressure's on John Theoret and the Oh Boy Oberto.
And here they come, 10 seconds to go, just a hair early. About a 12-second run down from the exit buoy, and here comes Theoret on the outside, and he is going to be first across the line. And wow,
I don't know if John Theoret jumped that gun. That's going to be horribly disappointing.
J. Michael Kelly, and not much room in there. There's only about 1 lane there, Chip, and between the 2 boats from the inside to the outside, and somebody got real wet, and it was Tom Thompson.
Yeah, you know, I think John Theoret could be in trouble again for maybe a jump gun and for encroaching and forcing those boats together.
But they're flying up the backstretch as we look at John Theoret and J. Michael Kelly. They are separated by about 3 lanes as they come through the north turn. Kelly is leading Theoret. Theoret in second place as they come through the turn and head down start-finish line for the end of lap number 1. Flying the boat, J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking, the U5. Right behind him is John Theoret, and I mean right behind him. About 2 boat lengths separate the 2 of them. You can see him right there looking at the boats as they come through turn number 1. Their spotters will tell them where Tommy Thompson is, and they must have seen him. He's not in our shot now, so he is way out of harm's way. Michael Kelly is the first one off the turn, and John Theoret right behind him, about 3 boat lengths behind as they head through the mist and up to the backstretch.
And he needs to pass him. This is no race for the show. John Theoret needs to get by him, and even if he does get by him, he's got to hope he didn't jump the gun, and he's got to hope he doesn't get a lane infraction. So again, John Theoret is right in the middle of everything.
He's closed down only a couple of boat lengths apart, and he's moved into lane number 2. So at the end of lap number 2, your boat race right up front is J. Michael Kelly and John Theoret. Again, as they cross the line, Theoret closes down just a little bit more, only about a boat length behind. They head into the mist in the south turn, third and final time around. You can see they're very, very close together, only a couple of boat lengths. J. Michael Kelly has that inside lane as they come off the turn. Theoret went a little wider, lost a little ground, and J. Michael Kelly is about a third of the way up the backstretch. Hidden in the rooster tail looking from the shoreline is John Theoret and the Oh Boy Oberto. Now you can see them, and they are just about dead even as they start their arc through the north turn.
And sure enough, John Theoret jumped the gun. So the guy that couldn't, well, here we finish here.
It'll be J. Michael Kelly first across the line. John Theoret's going to get a 1-lap penalty, so your second place boat is going to be Jimmy King. We haven't called his name during this heat, but Jimmy King will finish second because of the penalty to John Theoret for jumping the gun.
You know, again, we talk a lot about John Theoret, but and I love him, and he's a great driver, and he has a great history, but he is in a slump, a driver slump, like, frankly, I have never seen before.
It's odd. It is just very odd. And he is streaking up the backstretch on his extra lap because it's a 1-lap penalty if you jump the gun. I think he's going to have his work cut out for him to get into the final. So into the wind and into the mist. It was a very strange south turn. Haven't seen one of those for about 10 or 11 years, and driving through the mist. But
and I do get worried when there is, Steve asked, is the rain a problem? And it's not, except for visibility. But then when there's a dead boat and it's a gray day with gray water and a dead boat, you're really relying on your radio guys to tell you where he is.
And those radio guys are in the pits. They're on tower.
No, they're right above
us.
Yeah,
here on the start-finish time.
Yeah. Oh, John Thierat is just going to be very, very upset. Now, he is truly maybe not in the final unless he has some really good luck in the third heat. The fastest boat here, probably the best handling boat here, the best boat all of last year, and again, he's in trouble and may not be in the final.
Yeah, that's actually a shame, because when you have that fastest boat and he may have the field covered by a couple of miles an hour, but there's a lot of strategy that plays into that. You take a look at the start again.
Yeah, and he was close at the start, and hopefully take a look at it. So look at the clock on the bottom of your screen on the left-hand side, and Jean Thierat is out here on the outside, so he's making a really fast run at it. And if he gets it perfect, he's got a really good shot at it, because you can see he's in front of everybody. But I guess we don't have the clock up.
We didn't have the clock. But watch the lanes. Watch the lanes go away, Chip.
Yeah.
You've got Tommy Thompson just got
washed down. And it was because the boat he had no place to go.
Let's head down to the pits. Our Amy Clancy has J. Michael Kelly, winner of Heat.
I'm grabbing
2B.
him right now. The streak continues. Mike, tell us what you did out there. How'd it feel?
We just did what we knew we needed to do. We just beat fast boat on the circuit, which is pretty cool. But these Graham Trucking guys at U5, they just give me an awesome boat. We're just gelling really good together, and it feels good I'm so happy to drive for these guys, and the last few years have really shown. And man, I mean, that felt really good to go beat that boat. That 16 is fast, and we just beat them heads up, and that was really cool. And we did what we needed to do. We got on the inside, and we're just gonna keep on doing our thing, and we'll find ways to get her done.
But Mike, it wasn't just the boat that you beat. Your driving beat, because Thierat was again penalized.
Oh, he was. I didn't know. So, like I was saying earlier, I mean, you cannot afford to get penalties, especially here at Seafair, and that's one thing we've been really good at this year, just staying out of trouble. Last couple of years we've lost the high point chase because of a few penalties here and there. We've been right into points chase every year I've been with these guys, and so far right now we're racing clean, and that's been our biggest goal, and complete heats and take advantage of what we can, and couldn't be more proud of these Graham Trucking guys. And I'm so happy to have my boat back and get to drive it, and so just we're just gonna keep going strong. So I want to say hi to all my family and friends. Thanks for watching, and let's go U5 Graham Trucking.
Good luck. Thanks a lot, Mike. Appreciate it. And back to you, Allison. I understand you're standing by with somebody and you've got something to say too.
I am. I have Jean Thierat with me. How are you feeling after that without penalty for the start?
It's disappointing, We every time we go out there, we get penalties. Yesterday for going too slow, this time for going too fast. So it's hard, tough deal.
How do you take that then and move forward as we go into the next team?
You go over it. You have to go over it. But it's hard for the Alberta team. These guys work really hard. I have a good machine out there, and there's little mistakes that are stopping us from moving forward. So our goal is to make it to the final, but it's making it harder and harder.
It is getting harder. Do you think the weather change is getting a little rough out there?
No, not really. The weather conditions are the same for everyone. So that's it. That's a race.
Anything else you want us to know?
No, that's all good.
Go get them. Thank you. Back to you guys.
Well, he's always positive, even in the face of having the difficulties, and he does, as everybody has been mentioning, have the fastest boat.
And he's a great driver.
Yeah.
Don't mistake that.
Well, here are the results then of Heat 2B of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup, and you can see for yourself. Then J. Michael Kelly there on top with Graham Trucking first. Mr. Julio in second place. The Oh Boy Alberto with the penalty drops down to third, and then did not finish the Peters and May boat, which got washed out and happily, luckily, moved off the course just far enough to get out of everybody's way. Those are the results of Heat 2B, brought to you by Albert Lee Appliance.
Heat 2B of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by DCS by Fisher & Paykel and is presented for Seafair by Tulalip Resort Casino.
The Geico driver of the heat goes to J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking, the U5, for just being a perfect performance again in Heat 2B. And congratulations to JMK and the Graham Trucking team. There's your photo finish presented by Muckleshoot Casino, the biggest and best in the Northwest.
It is race time, Heat 3A of Unlimited Racing for the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup. And here are the boats in Heat 3A. Graham Trucking, Sound Propeller, Les Schwab Tires, J&D's Hydraulics, Peters and May, Oh Boy Alberto, and Miss Albert Lee Appliance. The boats in Unlimited Racing Heat 3A of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup.
Of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by Mealy and is presented for Seafair by Meridian Valley Country Club.
Taking a look at the clock, 3.5 minutes before we're ready to start racing once again, so the boats will be kind of jockeying for position. Starter clock brought to you by J.P. Morgan Chase, proud sponsor of Seafair. Chase, making it easy for your personal and business banking needs to start and run strong. We've had all kinds of weather conditions out here today. Sunshine, rain, wind. Right now it's fairly calm, although a few gusts of 8 miles an hour, and the temperatures are creeping up to 71 degrees. And here are the drivers in Heat 3A. Starting with that youngster we mentioned a moment ago, Andrew Tate in the Les Schwab Tires boat. Tommy Thompson, he's a veteran. He sees this lake. He knows all about it. And Jean Thierret, the veteran of the veterans. Allison Grandy is in the Jean Thierret camp.
Hey there. So Jean Thierret's had kind of a hard day. He's had a hard year and a half. So I just spoke with Eric Elstrom, who owns Elstrom Racing, to see what do you tell a guy like that as he heads into this third race here. He said he needs to not make any mistakes. He has the boat to do the job. He has the ability. Now they need to work together and come out clean. We're going to see what happens. Back to you.
One wonders if that means he'll push it even more. Let's see. Here's J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking boat, along with Brian Perkins in the Albert Lee Appliance, and Amy is in the Kelly pit.
I just talked with J. Michael Kelly, and I asked him what's his plan this time. He said, I'd love to rack up my third preliminary first place in a heat because I'd get more points. But it's also possible, he said, that he could knock Jean Thierret completely out of the competition altogether. He said he would love to get rid of the U16 boat because that boat is so very fast. So that's his plan. No mistakes. Keep in first place if he possibly can, and go on to the final. Back to you.
Okay, Amy. We are live around the world on KIRO7.com, and now here again, the voice of Unlimited Hydroplane Racing. Here's Mark Allen.
The slicing and dicing has begun, Steve. We see two boats. Tommy Thompson on the inside coming through the infield, looking for that inside lane. J. Michael Kelly wants the inside lane. Jean Thierret wants the inside lane. Andrew Tate wants the inside.
I want the inside lane now. So, Mark, what do you think? Can Jean Thierret win from the outside, or do you think he has to look at this like a final and just go for the inside?
I think he can win from lane 2 if he has to, but he's got Mike Kelly, so that's going to be a very, very troublesome thing for him, because if Kelly's in lane 1 and he's in lane 2, then that's going to be a problem. He probably has to have lane 1 to beat Kelly without really pushing the start and pushing everybody else around.
Andrew Tate is, the rookie who had the least experience of anybody here, but he's in this heat and he's had a pretty flawless day, especially when you consider it's his first time ever coming to Seattle.
Looking at him coming up the backstretch, Brian Perkins, we were looking at him. He cut through the infield and he was trying to get in lane 1 himself, and I think Brian Perkins has either Brian Perkins or Andrew Tate, the white boats, and it's a little hard to tell from our eye in the sky there, but Tom Thompson is going to go outside, and I think that's Perkins that slid into lane number 4, but now his lane is going away as they come to the top of the turn. You're looking at...
It looks like Albert Lee. Is that Albert Lee in the end?
Yeah, that is Brian Perkins on the inside.
And he's early.
He's early. Kelly is in lane 2, Theoret in lane 3. Then farther outside, you've got Thompson and Tate. And it looks like they were okay this time.
I think that was clean.
Very close. But Kelly is in the rooster tail.
That's right. And
he's in the rooster tail.
Looks like he did just what he needed to do.
He's in lane 2 now, but Kelly had to go way out. He just off the left side of our screen. It's Brian Perkins on the inside. You're looking at Graham Trucking, who got a lot of water as they came down the front straightaway, had to go through the rooster tail of John Theoret, and he is now leading up the backstretch. But Brian Perkins only a couple of boat lengths behind. We go 3 times around here in our 3rd preliminary heat. Theoret, Brian Perkins lets the boat get a little loose and almost unhooked as he came through the apex of the north turn on lap number 1. Theoret leaves him a lot of racing room, and Brian is right on the buoy line as he comes down the front straightaway to end lap number 1. Theoret flying the boat, but they're both right about 2 or 3 boat lengths behind. Now Brian Perkins in the Albert Lee falls back just a little bit, but Theoret, we talked about him being able to win from not necessarily lane number 1, and he's doing it. He's doing it actually from lane number 3. See if he's left Brian enough room. He's got the overlap, and Brian's got enough room in there now that he can stay in lane number 1. But Theoret flying the boat up the backstretch. He is your leader after lap 1.5. They're halfway up the backstretch. Perkins is chasing him. Andrew Tate is chasing Perkins. Kelly is still on the inside. He's back in 5th place as he took a lot of water in that very first turn. But your leader is John Theoret in the Oh Boy Oberto. The U16 comes through and brings the boat. You can see the rollers that they left the last time they came through the north turn, and he had to jump through those rollers. Got the boat a little airborne. Beautiful shot of exactly what a 3-point hydroplane is supposed to look like.
I can't tell you the number of times I've seen John Theoret do this, where he gets in the position where he has to win the 3rd elimination heat to make the final, and then goes on to win the final. He did it in the Gold Cup in Detroit in this very same scenario.
Last lap around, the white flag lap, their 3rd time around the Ted Jones race course, and Theoret has it all in hand. But you've got a pretty good race back here for 2nd place now. Andrew Tate has started to close in on Brian Perkins as they head up the backstretch. Your leader on the backstretch is John Theoret, just entering the north turn in the Oh Boy Oberto, the U16. Brian Perkins in 2nd place, and he has extended a slight lead over Andrew Tate for 2nd place. But your winner is going to be John Theoret, who has done what he needed to do, and he did it from lane number 3, end of lap 3, the checkered flag, and that is John Theoret in the U16, the Oh Boy Oberto. 2nd across the line. Nice race for Brian Perkins.
Very nice race for Perkins.
And 3rd place across the line will be Andrew Tate. And not too far behind him is Tommy Thompson in the Miss Peters in May. And J. Michael Kelly.
He's missing some tail fins.
Yes, he is. He's missing a whole wing as we see him come down. He's missing a tail fin and a wing. And he's not going to be a...
And doesn't that remind you of last year?
I was just going to say, last year in the final, he lost part of his tail feathers. And if it hadn't been for Jimmy Shane bumping into him, and he ended up getting the win, did J. Michael Kelly because of that, because of the penalty against Shane. But again, it seems to be something about the Graham Trucking boat here toward the end of these races that they start to lose some of the tail end of the boat. But what happened, and you're going to look at it at some point at the start, J. Michael Kelly got caught up in the rooster tail and got washed almost completely down.
There was no place to go. And when you're in that position, you've got a boat on either side of you and you're behind. It's literally like being in a sewer pipe. And all of a sudden it just starts to close and there's no place to go. Maybe let's take a look at the start and see if we can analyze exactly how J. Michael Kelly got in the position of losing some wings. So there's J. Michael Kelly, the red boat there.
Perkins on the inside.
2nd lane.
And in lane 3 is Theoret. And they're coming down now.
Oh, he got himself in there.
I think he did get himself in a little trouble. John left him a pretty good lane until now. Yeah. He's lucky.
You know what I did? I think he took the hit for Perkins. Here's Perkins here. He knew he couldn't go left because he would get into Perkins. So I think he just took the hit to make sure he didn't get penalized for getting into Perkins.
Yeah, let's take a look at it again. There's some pieces of boat going away right there.
That's going to need some duct tape. Right?
Some
we talked
duct
about
tape
duct tape
might hold it all together.
All right.
200-mile-an-hour duct tape.
So Amy Clancy is standing by in the pits, and she's got J. Michael Kelly. Let's find out what happened.
Typical Theoret thing. That guy should not be out there. I don't care what people say, and shouldn't say things about other drivers, but that guy, I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. We're in the final, and if they didn't call him on that, we'll let him start on my inside next time because I'm done with it.
What's going to happen with your boat? What can you do?
I got great guys. They'll get it fixed, and we'll get it patched up, and we're going to go show Theoret what a real driver does.
Thank you. Good luck.
Well, there's no discounting what he just said. And in fact, we were kind of talking amongst ourselves during the race that did it look like Jean Theoret maybe squeezed him just a little bit?
It did. He took the hit instead of Perkins. So he saw the lane disappearing. He knew he had a boat to his left. So he could have gone and taken out the guy to his left, but he would have gotten penalized. So he said, nope, I'm going to take the hit. And let's take another look again here. And see
was
if we
part
can.
of it that he was far enough back that Jean could start to close down?
No, you got to have 5 boat lengths, and
there's no 5 boat lengths there, and he's starting his arc. Theoret starting his arc. Brian Perkins is close to the buoy line. He's got plenty of room in there for another lane, except the lane goes away because Jean Theoret started the arc.
Well, let's find out what Jean has to say. Allison Grandy is with him.
Yeah, they're just taking his helmet off here. Jean Theoret winning this heat. We're going to talk to him here as he gets ready. I think there's a baseball cap that usually goes on after the helmet comes off. Here we go. How did that feel out there?
Finally, we got one. The Lord is good. I'm happy for Roberto team. They work so hard, and Seafair's our hometown for Roberto and all that, and the guys in the Elstrom team. So I'm really, really happy. The Lord is good.
A good handshake there from Eric Elstrom.
Yes.
You had to do this. This had to happen for you. How does it feel to know you accomplished that?
Somehow every time I come in Seattle, I'm always pushed back in the corner. And by the grace of God, I'm always able to pull it off. So we're in the final, and that's what counts.
I have to say that J. Michael Kelly is blaming you for some damage to his boat. What do you have to say about that?
If there's no call, that's not my fault.
See him in the final?
Yeah, exactly. See you in the final.
Back to you guys.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I mean, it just kind of starts to ratchet things up for the final.
Well,
today.
these guys have gone at this before, and J. Michael Kelly and John don't really see eye to eye on a lot of things.
And remember, this
old
was
school and younger guy. I mean, all those things play into this.
But this is really a continuation of when Dave Villawalk was there, too. Dave Villawalk was driving for the Elstrom, and he was getting in trouble. So this team has kind of always been having some problems this way.
And there have been drivers like Chip Hanauer who caused problems for other people, too, over the years. Still am. Let's head back down to the pits and Amy.
We're here with Tom Thompson. You took on some water in that last heat. How did it run this time?
It ran really well. We had a few issues from the last heat, so we had to be a little bit more conservative. I went outside and nailed the start like I'm supposed to, and we did the best we could do.
Now, I understand from one of your crew members that the boat wasn't completely aligned as perfectly as it could have been because of the hit you took last time. What did you notice?
Well, I mean, it's more cautious than anything. When they tell me there's a little something wrong, I'd err on the side of not getting anybody else in trouble as well as myself. So rather than go inside, I chose to go more outside line. That way I had more room if something did happen and I wouldn't affect anyone else.
So what's the plan from here on out?
Well, obviously we didn't make the final because of our last heat. So we'll just pack our stuff up, sit on the trailer, watch a great final with all my friends that are in it, and get ready for Detroit and go do a better job there.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you so much. Glad you're okay. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks.
Tom Thompson, one of the first times I think this weekend we've heard from him. Another great gentleman, and there's so many nice guys in these pits, and they're all nice guys until they get buckled into the cockpit and start racing against each other, and then it's pretty competitive.
It is, and this group is unlike any group of drivers I've ever seen. In my day, there was a lot of animosity between us, but for the most part, I mean, you're around these guys more than I am now. They're really good friends. They spend time away from the race course, and as you said, they race limited boats together.
Well, and their families. I mean, this is sort of an intermarriage sort of a thing. There are a lot of people who are married into the families, and they do spend a lot of time. They don't just race 5 unlimited races. They race limited inboards here in Region 10 in the Northwest. They're back east sometimes. Up in Waterford, Michigan, a couple of weeks ago, J. Michael Kelly and Jimmy Shane were racing 1 liters, and they were head-to-head. So
and they also have jobs. Almost all of them have jobs
they
as well that they support their family.
You know, I heard from Dave Villawalk before this heat, and he has been helping the. We got to. Wait a minute.
Hang on.
It looks like
Hold
the 16. So
hold the phone.
John Theoret is in trouble again because, as we said, when we called it, I said it looked like J. Michael Kelly took the hit instead of it moving over and getting into Brian Perkins. Well, sure enough, they've disqualified or given a 1-minute penalty to, who else? John Theoret.
So by my math, by my calculations, he can't make the final then if he now ends up at the back of the pack with this penalty, correct?
Yeah, there's no way he's going to make it in the final. So the fastest boat in the field will be sitting on the trailer. And maybe we can get Allison to get back down there and talk to somebody in the crew, because that is quite a development.
I would expect that the crew knows about this at this point, as I'm looking at Mike Hansen and some of the others on top of the Oberto boat. Looks as though they're putting this, taking the slings, removing the slings after they put it up on the trailer.
Let's look at it one more time and maybe go all the way back to when they come off the corner. So there's plenty of room there. See, there's 3 lanes there, no question, room for everybody. But John, you see, he's slowly coming over this way a little bit. J. Michael doesn't want to come over and get in the way of Perkins, so he takes the hit. He's got nowhere to go. So now there really is only 2 lanes. And then John comes back out and that lane reappears. So it's a tough call. There might have been 3 lanes there for a little while, Mark. What do you think? I don't know.
Actually, we saw John go tighten in a little bit.
Yeah.
Saw Kelly go out and hit his rooster tail. He then came back all the way into lane 1 and then zoomed back out to the outside. So it may also have cost him a little control of that boat.
Right, and we can pick it apart here from now till morning, but the call has been made. And that, again, when you put it on the calls that have been made all year with John Theoret, again, the fastest boat in the field. This is really frustrating.
Well, let's check in with, it's Amy Clancy, right? Amy Clancy with Brian Perkins. Go ahead.
Yep, we're here with Brian Perkins. So Theoret was disqualified. That means you're the big winner of this heat. How's it feel?
It feels good. We needed it. We were hurting for points, and we needed that. I got to thank Mike, and Theoret, I'm assuming that's what he got called for, was taking Mike's lane away. But when somebody is inside of you, like I was inside of Mike, and somebody's taking your lane away, it's so hard not to come in and take the guy on the inside of you's lane. And he left me a lane the whole time. I mean, he could see his door closing. It's just instinct to keep moving over. But Mike Kelly, the Graham guys, great job. What a racer. Looking forward, hopefully, to the final. Hopefully, got enough points.
Did you know that Theoret was most likely in trouble like that?
Well, I was hoping the officials were going to make the call, because he came over, he definitely took Mike's lane. So, I mean, we put our trust in the officials to do their job, and I've always been under the belief of what they say, that's what goes. Even if you don't agree with it, sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't. But from where I was sitting, that was a blatant lane takeaway from Mike, from Theoret. So, but no, I got to thank the Albert Lee Appliance team too. I got to get them in there. But hopefully we have enough points for the final.
I was going to say, what's your plan for the final if you get in?
Go do the same thing we just did.
Take the first.
That's the idea. That's why we're here. So we'll see.
Congratulations on your heat win.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Good luck.
Appreciate it. Thanks,
Run
guys.
fast, turn left. Let's head to Allison. What's going on in the Theoret camp, Allison?
Well, last time I was here seconds ago, we thought he won the heat. Now we're finding out that there's a penalty. Talking with Rick Harella here, driver assistant. They're talking about him getting too close to J. Michael Kelly, forcing that damage. What do you think?
I haven't seen the video, but from the looks of the damage, he slid outside a little bit and took off the rear right side of the wing and the uprights for J. Michael. And John's been pressing hard all day long. He's trying. And as everybody knows, the harder you try sometimes, the quicker mistakes happen. And he wanted this one bad to kind of bail us out and bail himself out, and he just overpushed.
And so to go from that high that we're surviving to perhaps now a penalty and being done for the day, what's that roller coaster like for a driver?
It's heartbreaking for him and his family to leave Seattle after having a bad weekend last weekend in Tri-Cities, and to leave Seattle with virtually nothing to show for it. A lot of effort in the last 14 days to get this thing together, and I know he's heartbroken, and the rest of the guys are too. It's just, a lot of work and nothing there.
Thanks, Rick. We're going to send it to the other side of the pits, over to Amy.
To Tom Thompson, J. Michael Kelly, and Brian Perkins all talk about that race. They all said the same thing, that Theoret was an obvious just infringed on J. Michael Kelly's lane, and so the three of them were here talking about it. They all shook hands. They all said they saw the same thing. It looked like an obvious infraction on Theoret's part. So they're all in agreement, and you know what? They had the closest seat. So what you guys saw from the tower and from our cameras around the course is exactly what these people said they saw out on the course, and they were right there close. Back to you guys.
Wow. Well, here we go. This is unlimited hydroplane racing. This is one of these, though, that these kind of things happen, and sometimes you can't make that decision instantly as the race is still going on, right, Chip?
Yeah, it's so easy when we can rewind it and look from a helicopter. But when you're out there, when you're coming across, I don't think John Theoret did anything intentionally. Or there was nothing in his mind that said, I'm going to take his lane away. But the beach is way over here, so you don't know what's parallel. You have nothing. It's not like you're on a highway where you can see the edge. So I think he was trying to hold him tight. I think he really believes he was leaving 3 lanes. He almost did leave 3 lanes. He left 2.5.
See, and then watch, Kelly just comes into the lane 1 and then right off the left side of the screen out to the outside.
Well, there was nowhere at that point. He figured there was no lane 2 anymore. So, and like I said, and I think Perkins backed it up, is that was very hard for J. Michael Kelly to not say, okay, he's coming over on me, I'm coming over on you. He took the hit.
Well, so now we still have another heat of racing yet to go before we get to the finals. So if you don't have the fastest boat in the Seafair Regatta this year in the Oh Boy Alberto boat, and you've got a Graham Trucking boat that's banged up and they've got to do some emergency repairs on it, it kind of starts to set up pretty nicely for Jimmy Shane and the Home Street team, doesn't it?
It does, but remember Andrew Tate is, I think if he gets in there, and don't forget Jimmy King. So, I think we are in a place in unlimited hydroplane racing where we haven't been for a long time, where we'd get down to, we thought 2 boats, but there's still 4 boats. I think, Mark, they can win on their own merit.
I think you're right. It's anybody's game right now.
Tell me how much work is going to go into, we're looking at the Alberto team here as they're now going to start buttoning this thing up, and their weekend is for all intents and purposes done. How much work is going to have to go into getting that Graham Trucking boat ready?
I think what they'll do is they run 2 boats. There's a Graham Trucking 1 and 2. Right. So they will take the wings off of the 2 boat and put it on here. As long as the upright, this is called the upright here, that holds the wing up in the air, it doesn't have the cowling over it. See how this has the fairing over it? That's not that big a deal. It's a little bit of a deal, but as long as the structure is there to hold the wing up, they should be okay.
And they have other wings too. They can just take one off, and they've got others in the truck. A lot of spare parts get built during the winter. And just for this purpose.
And J. Michael Kelly is one of the kind of drivers, it's like, it doesn't matter. He's a tough little nut. I think he thrives on this kind of a challenge. It's like, I don't care. Well, you heard him. I don't care. Just get me out there.
Tell me what that wing does. What does it do for the boat? How important is it?
It does 2 things. The wing keeps the attitude. So as the bow comes up, it changes the wing angle, which brings the back up with it. Now the uprights, that fairing that you're looking at right here, it does something also really unusual. We took it off one time, and I couldn't turn the boat because, well, I could turn the boat, but it wanted to spin out. So that fairing, when it gets sideways in the corner, it keeps the boat from continuing to rotate. So it's important. Last year when he lost the wing, that was a lot of weight off the boat. That changed the CG of the boat, and he really had a hard time driving it.
A lot of technical things there, but also basically it just gives you a sense of how important every little thing is on these boats, and how much weight is important and how little weight is important in keeping one of these boats upright too.
That's why they're there. I mean,
sure.
There's nothing there that doesn't need to be there.
That's exactly right.
You and I both know Rick Carilla.
Absolutely.
And I saw a lot of pain in his face and his voice. You know how hard he works. He's a crew guy. There's some real pain there, and it's tough.
Well, here are the unofficial results of Heat 3A of Unlimited Hydroplane Racing here along the shores of Lake Washington in the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup. The Miss Albert Lee Appliance, the U21, Brian Perkins, gets his win today. First one this weekend. Les Schwab Tires and Andrew Tate, followed by Peterson May. The Graham Trucking boat with J. Michael Kelly, beat up as it was, and then the Oh Boy Alberto after the lane encroachment penalty. Those results of Heat 3A brought to you by Albert Lee Appliance.
Heat 3A of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by Mealy and is presented for Seafair by Meridian Valley Country Club.
The Geico driver of the heat is J. Michael Kelly of the Graham Trucking Team for taking the big hit for the team, so to speak, in Heat 3A. And congratulations to Brian Perkins, winner in the Albert Lee Appliance. There's your photo finish presented by Muckleshoot Casino, the biggest and best in the Northwest.
Heat 3B of unlimited boat racing for the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup, and here are the boats in Heat 3B. It's Home Street, Miss DiGiulio, Graham Trucking 2, and the Car Star Miss Rock. Those boats in unlimited racing Heat 3B of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup.
Heat 3B of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by General Electric and is presented for Seafair by One Main Financial.
And while the boats continue to jockey for position, we're just inside of 3 minutes to go. The starter clock brought to you by JP Morgan Chase, proud sponsor of Seafair. Chase, making it safe, making it easy for your personal and business banking needs to start and run strong. Weather conditions, you can see the clouds are starting to build up. They're getting a little darker. Temperatures creeping up as well. 73 degrees. Winds not too much a factor right now. And here are the four drivers in this Heat 3B. Starting off with Jimmy Shane in the Home Street Bank. Jeff Bernard in the Graham Trucking 2. And Allison is with Jimmy Shane.
Shane just needs to make sure that nothing happens to mess anything up on this heat. This is a chance for him to check out the boat, see if there's any changes he's going to want to make for the final with the propeller, the gearbox, the wings. For him, it's a chance to go around the course, make sure he's feeling good about all of the settings, because he has another chance to come back here with his crew and make some changes. We're going to ask him when he comes out if anything needs to change or if he's just ready to race. Back to you.
Okay, Allison, and Jimmy King is in the Miss DiGiulio. Kevin Ekrit is in the Car Star Miss Rock, and Amy Clancy is in the King Pits.
You know, Jimmy King has never won an H1 final. He's won heats before. He'd love to win this heat too, the final preliminary heat before the big final, because if he wins this one, it'll give him the confidence he needs going into the final to win that one for the very first time. He's been at this for a very long time. He's a very experienced driver. He hopes to bank on that experience to get him through to the final and then hopefully to win it. He says he's feeling good this year. This could be the magic year. Back to you.
It would be fun to see a piston boat come back and win at Seafair. We are live around the world on KIRO7.com, and here again the voice of unlimited hydroplane racing, Mark Allen.
Thank you, Steve Rabel. Already a penalty, Chip, and one we may need to discuss a little bit and explain to our viewers. The 99 KISW Miss Rock Car Stars went through the DMZ in the center of the course, which is right in front of us on the inside of the race course.
There's a place called the DMZ, and it's called the DMZ because I actually coined that phrase. It's the demilitarized zone. We needed a place for the patrol boats to go in where the race boats didn't come near them. He went through that, so he was disqualified just as he got onto the race course.
And that is very unfortunate. You're watching Jeff Bernard idling slowly up the backstretch at 80 miles an hour at least next to Jimmy Shane. The 99.9 is out front there ahead of everybody else, but he is not going to be in the mix, and looking for Mr. King to come up in lane number 3. It looks like he will slide into lane 3 as they turn toward us. It will be It's Jeff Bernard in lane number 1, Jimmy Shane in lane 2. Lane 3 will be Jimmy King in the Miss DiGiulio as the clock counts down to 0. And it looks like a very close but pretty good start. We'll have to see. Jeff Bernard leads him down to the south turn on lap number 1, walking the boat back and forth, sponson to sponson. But right next to him on the right-hand side is Jimmy Shane in the Home Street Bank. And here comes Jimmy off the turn, side by side with Jeff Bernard in the U7 Graham Trucking 2. And they will race up the backstretch less than a boat length apart. Now Jimmy Shane takes about a boat length lead as they're about halfway up the backstretch on lap number 1. Your third place boat would be Jimmy King in the Miss DiGiulio, 2 or 3 rooster tails behind and falling back just a little bit. Apex of the turn, they're still side by side as they come off the exit. That big yellow buoy you see just to the left of Jeff Bernard in the Graham Trucking 2. Jimmy Shane with about a 2-3. Now you can see him pulling ahead. That big number 1 designating your defending national champion, and Jimmy flying the boat just a little bit more. Jeff Bernard has a little softer boat ride on the inside lane, but your leader through the turn and off the turn is Jimmy Shane in the home street bank. We're on lap number 2. Up the backstretch, not seeing too many parallel rollers at this point, Chip. He's got pretty good clean water.
He does. Jeff Bernard has to take care of that wing because they may need it for his teammate for the finals.
That's
so
right.
They probably left him when he left the dock saying, don't hurt the wing.
Bring it back. Bring the wings back in one piece, please. You were looking just a second ago at Kevin Ekert in the KISW 99.9, who's been disqualified, and he is still on the course and racing. But Jimmy Shane off the turn with Jeff Bernard in hot pursuit. He is on the right side, Jimmy Shane on the left side. You see Jimmy King has moved kind of into lane number 2, but he's back way in the rooster tail of everybody else. Your leader is still Jimmy Shane, but Jeff Bernard is giving him a run for his money, Chip. A boat length apart as they come through the south turn here off the exit buoy, and they're going to be side by side, maybe a boat length between them, but not that much.
And hats off to Jeff Bernard because his boat is not as good and fast as Jimmy Shane. So he got a great start. He led him into the first corner. He's done a great job here.
And this boat didn't qualify very well. They were hard to get up over about 136.7 miles an hour in qualifying, but Jeff Bernard has made the most of his races today in the heats and yesterday as well. Off the north turn now and down the front straightaway, it is Jimmy Shane in the home street bank. Now you can see a little bit of rollers as he's walking the sponsons back and forth. Jimmy Shane, you see the struts that hold up that the fairings that Chip was talking about, just kind of wobbling in the breeze there.
Yeah, don't lose those wings. And let there be no mistake, Jeff Bernard is in the second boat. So if they need anything for Mike Kelly's boat, they will take it off of that boat. And Jeff Bernard understands that when he took the job that he's the number 2.
Yeah. As they continue to work in the pits, not much drama in that race. The drama actually happened just before when the Miss Rock was penalized. So 3 boats actually in this race to the finish and racing well, and Jimmy Shane comes out on top with Jeff Bernard second and Jimmy King third, at least at this point. We'll continue to wait and see, but it didn't look to all of our eyes up here that there was anything worth getting a penalty for. And in fact, it appeared all the drivers were really keeping good, distinct, clear lanes and trying to stay out of everybody's way.
And let's go back to 9:30 this morning. We talked about don't make unforced errors, and look at how big a role unforced errors have played in this day of who's going to be in the final.
Remember in the days when you drove for the Miss Budweiser, not saying that you did, but when mistakes happened, if something broke, you guys had lots of parts, you had the money to fix stuff. These teams today, not a lot of them have those kinds of resources. So you really, not only are you not trying to beat yourself, but you're also trying to take care of the equipment.
That's a good point. The sport has changed a lot. We had a lot more corporate sponsorship, and we had a second string, third string, fourth string for every part on the boat. That's not the case now.
So there's Jimmy Shane and that, what did we call it, the Home Street Blue?
Home Street Blue is what they decided to call it.
I think I said Atlas Van Lines Blue.
Oh, well, I think you probably did, and nobody alive today remembers the Atlas Van Lines Blue. Just kidding. Everybody remembers the Atlas, the Blue Blaster.
Well, this might be the new Blue Blaster right here.
Could be. I know Home Street is happy to be a part of this.
Other than a disqualification in that first heat, he's had a really clean day. Been out of trouble, boats all in one piece. So he and Andrew Tate have kind of come through the elimination heats in the best shape, it looks like today.
And as we all know, that sometimes not the best boats end up on top because you've got other drivers out there in their boats who sometimes might get in the way or slow things down, or any number of things can happen once you get out there and are racing for a final.
When you take 6,000-pound boats and take them 200 miles an hour, inches apart, things can happen.
Things happen.
Jeff Bernard is going to be climbing out of his Graham Trucking 2 boat in just a couple of seconds. A nice job driving for him and a number 2 finish. And Amy is going to get him as soon as he climbs out. We'll also effort to get Jimmy Shane when he climbs out of the Home Street bank. So now 3 heats in the books on this Seafair Sunday. Let's head down to Amy.
Here with Jeff Bernardi still taking off his helmet. He just got out of the boat. We understand they're tallying points to see if you got into the final or not. What is your take on things?
We should be good. I think we had to finish third in that heat before the 21 won, and with the 21 winning, I think if we finished second, we were going to be fine. So,
That's part of the deal.
according to our calculations, we should be fine. But good heat. We struggled this morning, jumping the gun, getting stuck on the outside. We have a big gear ratio for this course, so it's been kind of a struggle. Getting lane 1 and having Jimmy in 2 was about the only way we could do it if somebody was kind of protecting me with this big gearbox. So
Looks like you got a cut there on your finger. What happened?
I don't know. I think it was just from taking the helmet off. But got to thank Graham Trucking and this whole team. They've been busting their butt all weekend long to find speed the last 2 weeks. We're kind of limited to what we have with gears and props. You know, obviously, our teammates the number one priority, and he was leading national high points up until the last heat. So.
But you'll both be there in the final.
Yeah, both of us in the final, and we'll see what we can do to help each other out.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Good luck to you in the final. Thanks for your time. And to Allison with Jimmy Shane.
Jimmy Shane is here, feeling good. Jimmy, tell us about the last loop.
Feeling great. Miss Homestreet Bank had a really good clean win there in heat 3B. Losing track, and just a great run for the boat. We had a great start, got real good position. Felt like I could do pretty good in that race in lane 2, so that's where we wanted to see. We also wanted to see how we could stack up against the other boats, not being in lane 1. And I think we have a really good setup in the boat for the final. Happy that Miss Homestreet is going to be in the final, and looking to hopefully take home the Albert Lee Cup here in just another heat.
Do you plan to make any changes to the boat right now? Clearly it's running really well.
Yes, we will make changes. We always do.
What are we changing?
I will let you know after the race. We'll see if they work or not.
That sounds good. Back to you guys.
Yeah, nice try, Allison.
Can't blame me for trying.
Most of those guys are not going to give up too many secrets, but we did find out now how dangerous it can be taking your helmet off.
Yeah, I never knew that, but now I feel like I got through my career without hurting myself that way. I hurt myself every other way.
Yes, you did. You did, in fact, as those of us who are old enough to remember, recounted some of those tales of Chip Hanauer. Well, there's the Homestreet Bank getting ready to put it back on the trailer. And it is interesting what Jimmy said, and this holds true for all those teams. They will all now go back to those boats and start working on them, setting them up, because the final this afternoon at 4:45, the setup is going to be much different than it was at 9 o'clock this morning, right?
It's going to be a lot rougher.
Gearbox, maybe gearbox change?
I think gearbox change. And a lot of it will take will depend on what the driver comes back after this heat, because he's had everything now. He's tried every combination all day long. Now he sits down in the back of the truck with his engineers and said, I like this propeller with this engine and this gearbox.
I was going to say, what's the most important thing when you walk back into that truck are you going to tell your crew?
If the boat's good, I'm going to say leave it alone, dry it off. If the boat has one little change that needs to be made, I say give me a little bit lower gear ratio, give me that propeller we ran in lane 2, one specific change, or this thing is junk. Change everything. It's either going to get really, really bad or much better, but I can't drive it like this.
Have you ever had one of those?
Yeah, I've a number of times where I just said, it's not working. Everything we've tried doesn't work. They said, all right, we're just going to change everything. And sometimes it came alive and worked great.
Let's check in once again with Amy Clancy in the pits. Amy.
Well, I was just talking to a crew member on the Jimmy King Mr. Julio boat. He told me that the front wing is damaged, but he said it shouldn't be a huge concern for the final because all they have to do is just pop that out and put another one in. But that front wing is damaged. I don't know if you could see it when they were pulling the boat out of the water. But it shouldn't be something that should keep them out of the final, and that's the good news. Whenever somebody says something like that and makes a promise, oh, we should be good, they always say, I hope. So that's the plan. They're going to pop it out, put in another one, and hopefully we'll be good to go. Back to you.
There's a lot of hope that goes into the workings between the last preliminary heat and the final in every boot camp, believe me.
So, Mark, who do you think is let me rephrase the question. Who do you think has to be in lane 1, and who do you think will get lane 1?
I would put my money on getting lane 1 on J. Michael Kelly.
Me too, because he's just so good at it.
He is the master at getting lane 1. Now, the question is, are we looking at the...
That's it. Just the tail feathers there.
Yep. Good as new. Ready to go.
And you can see what he's putting on here. This is a way for him to measure the angle of the wing. So they want to get the angle back. They had to change the angle of the wing to replace it. Now they want to put the wing back. He's got basically a simple level that you would use when you were framing a house to get the angle that they want for that wing.
Why does it take 3 days to get the oil changed in my car, and they can replace a wing in less than a half hour on the back of a hydroplane?
Because they see you coming and they say, we can take advantage of this poor guy. So let's just...
You are right about that, my friend. Here we go. The unofficial results now of Heat 3B of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup. And here they are. Miss Home Street Bank takes home another win. Graham Trucking 2, Miss DiGilio, and Miss Rock disqualified. Those results, Heat 3B, brought to you by Albert Lee Appliance.
Heat 3B of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by General Electric and is presented for Seafair by One Main Financial.
The Geico driver of the heat goes to Jeff Bernard in the Graham Trucking 2. He made a great start, and he had a great fight with Jimmy Shane. Pushed him all the way. And congratulations to Jimmy Shane and the Home Street Bank. Your photo finish presented by Muckleshoot Casino, the biggest and best in the Northwest.
It is race time, the final of unlimited boat racing for the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup. And here are the boats in the final, and it's loaded. Home Street Bank, Graham Trucking, Miss DiGilio, the Miss Albert Lee Appliance, Graham Trucking 2, and the Oh Boy Oberto is the trailer. Those are your boats. Unlimited racing, the final of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup.
The final of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by Whirlpool KitchenAid and is presented for Seafair by Tulalip Casino.
The boats are out on the course, coming up on 3 minutes before they go racing the starter clock. For the final time today, brought to you by J.P. Morgan Chase, a proud sponsor of Seafair. Chase, making it easy for your personal and business banking needs to start and run strong. The weather conditions, they have held up. Morgan, we love you. Temperatures about 68 degrees, just a little light chop, a few gusty wind bursts, but mostly about 3 miles an hour, and the clouds are getting kind of thick. And here are the drivers that are going to be negotiating this course here on Lake Washington. Led by Jimmy Shane in the Home Street Bank, Jimmy King in the only piston-powered boat, and J. Michael Kelly, who lost some tail feathers in that last heat. They are three of the drivers who are in. Amy is in the J. Michael Kelly pits.
And his boat is back together. They have new tail feathers. They even had time to put the Graham Trucking logo on it. They also have some parts from the U11 putting that boat back together. And I was watching Graham Trucking's team during the F1's finals, and they were going, hurry up, let's get this thing going. Both of them, both J. Michael Kelly and Jeff Bernard, are ready to race. They're looking forward to this final. Back to you.
Jeff Bernard is in the other Graham Trucking boat. Andrew Tate at the controls of the Les Schwab. Brian Perkins in the Albert Lee Appliance boat. And Jean Theoret is the trailer. Allison is with Andrew Tate's crew.
He's a rookie. He's 26 years old, but he's calm when he gets in that cockpit. Now, keep in mind, lots of these young drivers, they're friends. They even went go-kart racing earlier this week, but on the water, it's all business. Tate told me he's kind of the villain from out of town who wants to take it away from the local boys. Let's see if he can do it. Back to you.
And let's see if they can all outrun this guy. He's got the fastest boat. He's had nothing but bad luck all weekend, but Jean Theoret is in the final. Let's see what happens there. We are live around the world on KIRO7.com. One more time on this Seafair Sunday. Let's turn it over to the voice of unlimited hydroplane racing, Mark Allen.
Thank you, Steve Rabel. We are ready to buckle in for a final that should be a barn burner. Right now, you're looking at Jimmy King on the right side of your screen. He is in lane number 1, and we're going to have a little bit of trouble, Chip. We have two red boats that are identical, so we'll do our best to discern which ones are which. But I think you're looking at the Les Schwab in lane 2, and I think J. Michael Kelly in lane number 3, Brian Perkins in lane 4 as they come through the south turn. But we've got a cutter through the infield, and he's going to have to make some room. Oh, we had a couple of guys get a little close during the front straightaway. That is J. Michael Kelly and Brian Perkins. And yes, they did touch.
Fighting, trying to elbow his way in there to make a lane.
He did it successfully, at least at this point. The U9 Les Schwab, that is Mr. Tate.
I think they're awfully early, Mark.
Yep, there are 25 seconds and they're at the apex. That is early. Graham Trucking.
What that means is
Les
early
Schwab.
means they're not going to have much speed at the line, and somebody on the outside here who's got a longer distance to go, he could have a lot of speed at the line and maybe get in front of all these guys.
Now somebody's going to try to come up in between boats to take lane 2, but there's no lane there. Now looks to lane 3.
And the 3, there's the start. The 3 has got the piston boat. It's got a 1-minute penalty for going too slow.
He's on the inside lane. That is Jimmy King coming to the buoy at the entrance to the south turn. Next to him is Andrew Tate in the 9, the Les Schwab boat. And right next to him, very, very close, is Jimmy Shane in the Home Street Bank. You've got Brian Perkins way on the outside. And Mr. Kelly got caught out in lane number 4 or 5. He is back in the pack. And Jimmy Shane and Andrew Tate are rocking and rolling up the backstretch on lap number 1 of 5. It's Andrew Tate into the north turn. We got somebody cutting through the infield. I'm not sure who that is. Looks like maybe Jimmy King.
But look at this race for first. Andrew Tate, first time in Seattle, leading the first lap of the final. That's amazing.
He is in first place by about 4 boat lengths. You got a great shot of everybody coming down. Brian Perkins is in 3rd place, and the 2 red boats, the Graham 1 and Graham 2, are trailing the field. It is Andrew Tate at the end of lap number 1. About a half a rooster tail lead, no, maybe even a little more, as he goes through that south turn.
This is quite a development. If a young man from Detroit, Michigan can come here and steal the Albert Lee Cup from under the nose of these kids, that's going to be quite a story.
It is a good start as well. Jimmy King chases Andrew Tate up the backstretch, and on the inside now you've got Mr. That's Jeff. That's his J. Michael Kelly, and he's just passing Brian Perkins for 3rd place. But you've got a race up front. It is for all the money, marbles, and chalk.
And he's stretching it out. He's got a bigger lead than he did the last lap. He's getting awfully loose, but this is Andrew Tate to lose now.
Yep, at the end of lap number 2, Andrew Tate with a full rooster tail lead over the Home Street Bank. He is running that boat about as loose as you can into the south turn for the 3rd time. This is lap number 3 of 5, and Jimmy Shane is trying to catch him, but it is not working very well for him right now. Andrew Tate off the turn and up the backstretch. He's already halfway up the backstretch with Jimmy Shane in hot pursuit and J. Michael Kelly in hot pursuit of them, but he's about 4 boat lengths behind, or 4 rooster tails behind Jimmy Shane. So it is all up front with Andrew Tate and Jimmy Shane. You watch Andrew Tate come through at the entrance buoy to the north turn. Now it's Jimmy Shane at the entrance buoy to the north turn. Shane squares off the turn a little bit and makes up a little bit of ground, but Andrew Tate brings the boat down. End of lap number 3. Still light, but he's got it glued down. He's walking the sponsons back and forth.
But here comes Jimmy Shane. He's closed it up a lot closer than it was the last lap.
And J. Michael Kelly is working his way in between those 2 boats. It may be that he is going to have a little more room than Jimmy Shane. Okay, the Graham has lost his wing. Well, we're not surprised about that. He's had trouble with that in the last heat as well.
Here comes Jimmy Shane. This is not over yet.
Andrew Tate up the backstretch on lap number 4. He is about a lap and a half right now away from a win, but Jimmy Shane is starting to eat into that rooster tail. He's closing up ground on Andrew Tate in the U9, the Les Schwab Sound Propeller Services, and lap number 4 coming up very shortly. They're off the turn, down the front straightaway. Now less than a rooster tail lead, but Andrew Tate is pushing it for all he can, and Jimmy Shane is now closing ground on him at the end of lap number 4. The white flag flies one more time around, Chip, and they are now closer than they have been for the last 2 or 3 laps.
Andrew just has to not make a mistake. If he does not make a mistake, the fact that he's got the inside should be able to hold him off. But Jimmy Shane's going to put a lot of pressure on him on this last corner.
He is. Right up the buoy line was Andrew Tate. A little wider on the south turn was Jimmy Shane, but you can see they are only a couple of boat lengths apart right now. We're going to see a great race, another great final, Chip.
Always in Seattle, it always happens.
And sliding out. And now Shane slides out a little more. He lost a little bit of ground. It's going to be a drag race off of that exit buoy, that big orange buoy. They're coming down the front straightaway. Andrew Tate. Can Jimmy Shane catch him? He doesn't have much more to go, much more room either, and much more time. And it is Andrew Tate. Sound Propeller Services and Les Schwab Tires.
That's a white flag.
Well, I lost count then. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was a checkered there. He was flying the white flag from the inside. But Andrew Tate, this is a story. He came into the sport with the best pedigree. Everybody said everything he's ever touched, he wins in. He comes here to Seattle the first time, wins with a boat that hasn't won in a long time. He won his first unlimited heat ever.
No, we didn't lose count, Chip. Everybody's slowing down. They're not at racing speed.
They just showed the white flag, though. That's I mean.
Oh, on the center boat there,
right.
yeah.
But Andrew Tate, this kid is the real deal. Jimmy Shane and Mike Kelly are as good as I've ever seen, and now you bring this kid into it. Man, we have got a lot of driving talent.
I'm just worn out watching these guys. I've got to tell you.
I mean, that is quite a performance. He only had Tri-Cities,
Madison, and only one heat in Tri-Cities because they broke the prop.
So and he did this perfectly. He got the inside lane. He basically drove a perfect week. He didn't make one mistake all week, and now he's going to be taking the Albert Lee Cup trophy home to Detroit
City.
The rivalry continues, and it's clean. I don't think anybody's going to be really well. There was that bump, before the start. So,
but that was between Kelly and Brian Perkins,
who were best buddies in the last heat, and then they're bumping this heat. I'm really excited to see Andrew. He's going to be so excited. His crew's going to be so proud. They kept telling me we don't want to put any pressure on him. He's new. We just want him to enjoy himself and learn. And he brings home the Albert Lee Cup.
Well, what we want to do is we want to just be sure that everybody knows. If you know anything about unlimited hydroplane racing, you know the results are unofficial until they're official.
Right.
But it does look as though Andrew Tate, the youngster, whose canopy is now popped, and so far, my guess is the celebration is about to start, already started on the Les Schwab dock, unless there is something that we don't know. We have officials with us. Nobody has given us any indication that there is anything other than a good, clean race out of these guys, and that Andrew Tate is going to come away with not only his first Seafair Cup, his Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup championship, but after starting this weekend without a win in unlimited hydroplane racing, he wins perhaps the biggest prize of them all.
And I've been hearing so much about Andrew for so many years, from when he was in outboards, and the limited inboards, then to Grand Prix. And everybody who I respect their opinion said, this kid is magic. He really has some ability, but he's up against guys like Mike Kelly and Jimmy Shane, so man, that's quite a victory.
One of the stories, maybe our pit reporters have a chance to talk it to Jimmy King, because before the start he pulled into the infield. After the finish, he fired up and drove back in. So I'm not sure.
Well, he did get a penalty, I think, for being under 80. So I think he just.
Well, let's head to the Jimmy Shane pits. We've got Amy Clancy there.
We got Jimmy Shane right here. You almost got him at the end. Talk about this race. What would you have done differently?
Great race. Andrew had position on the inside there. I tried to get clear there for the start. Things got a little tight. Andrew ran a great race. He nailed the start. I was right there with him going into the first turn. Kid deserves everything. He's a hard charger. Good-looking young man. Great for the sport, and very happy for the Les Schwab boat and Andrew Tate. But the Miss Home Street Bank boat ran fantastic. Second place finish. We're going to be taking that very happy, and we're going to boat in one piece, and we're going to move on to Detroit and keep it up.
And we'll see you next year. Thank you so much, Jimmy Shane. Great racing. Thank you.
So Jimmy Shane unofficially with a second place finish, and gave all the credit where credit was due. A great race run by the youngster. And that would be Andrew Tate, and Allison Grandy is with him and his crew, and there is one happy young man.
There's one party on the dock here as everyone has to give Andrew Tate a hug for his first time at Seafair and his first win of the Albert Lee Appliance Cup. Starts with some water and a lot of hugs. A lot of work here. Keep in mind, this guy's 26 years old. He's been to Seafair before with his dad, but this isn't dad. This is you. You won it. How's it feeling?
Unreal. Indescribable. I can't believe I'm on live TV right now. Oh, man. Thanks to Les Schwab, Sound Propeller, the crew. I mean, there was a chance we weren't even going to be here this weekend after Tri-Cities. I can't thank everyone enough. What a race with Jimmy Shane. I mean, I never saw so much blue in a rearview mirror in my life. The home street boat was awesome. Great. I don't know. Inexplicable.
What was it like coming around and seeing him on your tail like that, closing in a little bit, and you kept going?
Intense. I don't know if I took a breath the whole time we were out there, all 5 laps, but wow, what a feeling.
What kind of racing was that of your life? How do you rate this here?
That was a good old Seastock Hydro heat right there. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the outboards, but we went down in the corner and we were literally a couple inches apart, and having that much trust in the guy next to you, that's what it's all about. That's boat racing.
You said you might come to Seattle and take this away from the local guys. That's what happened here.
Well, the good news is they all get to come to Detroit and try to take one from me there. So I'm looking forward to that.
Is that a challenge?
Challenge, rivalry, I don't know. We're all buddies and we'll go have a good time off the race course, but when we strap in, we know the deal.
And the deal is today that you took it home. So congratulations.
Thank you. Unbelievable. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Grandma.
There it is. You can tell how he probably didn't take a breath out there. The guy's breathing heavy, trying to catch his breath and celebrating here. Back to you guys.
Mom, Dad, and Grandma, I expect they're all back in Detroit, watching this perhaps on KIRO7.com. At any rate, it gives you a great indication of how hard it is, how much work physically you have to do to control that boat. Nobody knows better than Chip Hanauer, and I know you're proud of that young man.
Absolutely. And remember, his father, Mark Tate, won this race himself. I can't remember which year. And one of the crew members on this boat actually said that drivers they've had in the past were just gassed by the time they got to the final and didn't have the energy. And they said they knew Andrew was really fit and ready to do this. And you can see how much it took out of him.
J. Michael Kelly's had a pretty good weekend until he lost some tail feathers, had some repairs done, could only muster a third-place finish, and he's in the pits with our reporters as well.
Yeah, we're live with J. Michael Kelly. Tough race, tough finish. What happened out there?
It was the cluster out there during the milling period, and I had gotten a warning when I'd cut the infield the first time and had the 9 coming down, and I just really didn't have anywhere to go, so I had to get out of the throttle just to let him pass and move out to the outside. So I got a warning when I slowed down, so that kind of put a damper in what we were planning on doing. And of course, we knew everybody was gonna get up there early, and it was just pretty crazy right before the start. And then I just kind of gotten in some water again, lost some parts. It's becoming a habit of losing my rear wing in the final here in Seattle, and these things are really hard to drive, and I knew something was wrong with it because it was kind of basically handling like it did last year when I lost my rear wing. So we picked up a 3rd place, pretty good for considering what the boat looks like. It looks pretty messed up right now, but I'm happy for these Graham Trucking guys, the U5. We got the U7 in the final too, so it's a plus to get both these boats there. And would have been nice to win, but we got to congratulate those U9 guys and Andrew Tate. Good shoe for that boat, and obviously he can get it done too. I've raced a lot against him in the outboards and the smaller categories, and his dad is like my idol, Mark Tate. The guy drove Winston Equal and Smoking Joe's, so pretty cool to see Andrew Tate following in his father's footsteps, and he's going to make his own name for himself. So couldn't be more happy for that guy, and just a good job to those guys, and just happy for the 5 guys this weekend.
And thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Good racing. Sorry about the last race.
Yeah.
We'll see you next year, though.
Yeah, it's racing, and we'll be back, and we'll try to do it again next year.
Sounds great.
So
thank you, Michael Kelly. And back to you guys.
All right, Amy, great job down there in the pits, both you and Allison. And they had lots to talk about. They had lots of great drivers, lots of great stories, and some terrific competition, and a little bit of controversy, more than a little bit of controversy at times, that they could cover as well for us. So all in all, another typical Seafair Sunday for all of you at home. Let's one more time say again, Doug. Oh, here we go. Final results. I knew he said something in my ear. I just wasn't quite sure what it was. Here you go. The final results from the championship of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup, and they are the Les Schwab Tires with Andrew Tate at the controls wins it Miss Home Street Bank. Graham Trucking third. Albert Lee Appliance is fourth. The Graham Trucking 2-boat is fifth. And the Mr. Julio did not finish. The results of the 2016 final of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup.
The final of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by Whirlpool KitchenAid and is presented for Seafair by Tulalip Casino.
And congratulations to Andrew Tate and the Sound Propeller Services, Les Schwab Tire. Whoa, Andrew, way up in the air, and that is your photo finish. Couldn't be more appropriate for the Muckleshoot Casino to present that, the biggest and best in the Northwest.